joining us again here at The Real Activist. Today we're being joined by Professor Griff, the original Minister of Information in hip-hop, one of the founding members of the hip-hop group Public Enemy, that's now inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the whole list, and the author of 3-4 different books, probably 300-400 different DVDs.
7 books, but go on.
7 books.
I'm not counting.
You're not counting? All right, we're going to build something today with Professor Griff on a few different issues. We're going to talk to you a little bit about some of the situations that's going on in hip-hop right now with the music. Now, what I really want to talk to you about is the frequency of the music. If we can just start right there, what changed in the frequency of the music that's changed the mindset of the youth today that you feel has really affected the way they are reacting to life itself, situations in life, because of the vibration that they're getting from the music?
I think that's an interesting question, simply because when we had to, when I say we, I mean the masses of the people, when the powers that be said we switching from analog to digital, all right, already right then and there my antenna went up. What are we not getting on the analog level that they plan to give us in the digital realm? And lo and behold, when that happened, the vibration and the intensity and the soulfulness and the warmth and the analog feeling in the music changed. That it no longer resonated with your heart chakra. It started resonating. At extremes. It's either too much for the dome, or you got a whole bunch up top and you didn't understand anything, or it hit you real low.
Yeah.
And of course, cognitive, soulful, musical, vibrational cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, I hear a lot of the youth say, especially my own children, I'll say something about the music they're listening to, and they're always saying, Daddy, you listening to the words too much. It's all about the beat. And I remember growing up in hip hop, it was all about what was being said. I mean, the MC was like really important to the whole structure after we moved past the phase of just the DJ. It got to the point where the
I'm
MC
glad you said
was
that.
extremely important, so.
Right, because it was the DJ that gave birth to all of it. It wasn't the MC.
Right.
Yeah, it was the vibration. It was the frequency. It was the drum beat. It was the different syncopated drum patterns, not only the 4/4, but intricate patterns coming off the continent that gave birth to this thing, that gave birth to the MC.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Although we had the griots telling the stories, yeah, it was a critical thing when it came to what beats are you playing?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes MCs was like, yo, man, put on something that I can vibe to, because that's whack. You understand what I'm saying?
How important do you think it is for us to have balance in music? Because I tell people all the time, we have, music that was all about the party and music that was all about the hump here and there, but you had so much of a variety, whereas it seems today you just have a one-force-driven focus of the frequency of the music, and there's no variety for the children to be able to choose from.
I'm going to play the antagonistic on that question.
Okay.
The antagonists, rather. It's all of the different kinds of music are out there. Do you mean to say that we're still following our open enemy and what he wants to give us? That's to say that's the only thing that's out there, that's the only thing that we're listening to. But that's not the case, because right now I could go on my cell phone and listen to what I want to listen to. I don't have to gravitate towards the mumble rappers.
Right. Do you think that the distribution of the way music is being pumped out now has changed of what we consider maybe back then, what we consider to be a variety, to maybe sometimes I think now it's way too much of a variety, because it's just like you said, you can just jump on. I listen to certain artists that have 1 million followers, and some of them have gone platinum. I have never completely heard their music, ever heard their music, but they're selling music and making money because of the different platforms now that you can use, to where it may not hit my age genre, or it may not hit, the particular group that I'm a part of, the type of music that I listen to with groups, but it may hit and resonate with somebody else, obviously, because there's a lot of music out there right now. I mean, you and I could talk forever about music that we feel is terrible, and it's actually loved by someone else. Whereas back in the day, people had followings, and you had to get a following back in the day just to sell your music. How do you feel about the distribution side of things now? Have that made us more powerful in the industry or less powerful?
Well, I think there was so much in what you said, but I don't think that's true. Back in the day, but because they controlled where you heard the music and who you purchased the music from, TV and radio and clubs and they had it on lock, so they can force an artist on you. You mean to tell me you willfully listened to Vanilla Ice and
Right.
some of these other characters? No, you didn't.
No.
It was that artist at that time that filled that space. It was almost like, who is the next one? You understand what I'm saying? So no. And you're absolutely correct when you said we have too much of a choice now. It's like, but we want to be able to follow that top 10 hits.
Right.
We want to be able to, and just so you know, I will never seek out someone with 1 million followers. For what?
Right.
If 1 million people are following this particular artist, that's somebody I probably don't want to listen to.
Right.
1 million people don't think like me.
Right.
Do a million?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm not checking for those artists at all. If I happen to hear something because I'm in the car with my children, I'll check for it, but I'm not going to become part of their family, part of their fan base. It's just not going to happen. I'm not lending my energy, resources, or spirit to that music.
What I'm talking about too, with talking from a standpoint of us having varieties and different things like that, do you think that there's any group that you would say today that's in the same line with what Public Enemy was putting out back in the day, or Rakim or KRS-One? Do you think there's any groups that you know of that are in the same line with them right now that you get?
Wow.
And I'm asking because I hear people individually compare young artists or solo artists to solo greats. Like I've heard people get on Young Yachty. Was it Lil Yachty when he was, being interviewed about different things? He didn't know particular people, and then people were comparing his style, and others to older veterans when they're solo artists.
Wow.
But when it comes to groups, you think
not only groups, the solo artists. I don't hear none of these cats that you. Who would you compare to Big Daddy Kane? Who would you compare to
Nobody.
Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh?
Yeah.
I mean, where's the young Black Thought that's coming up? You understand what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna talk about Rakim and Wise Intelligence from Poor Righteous Teachers. I'm not gonna. Where they at? You understand what I'm saying? We've seen MC Light have a long career. Where's the next MC Light?
Yeah.
So these artists, I wouldn't compare them. They're in their own zone, in their own lane, and the best thing we can do is just try to understand it, man.
But is that lane for them? When we talk about all this independence, do you think that lane is not being controlled and created for them as well, to where there are still opportunities for major record labels to force an artist on us and say that this is who's hot right now?
All these lanes are controlled by them.
Okay.
Unless you truly can name an artist that have created their own lane. All of these lanes are manufactured by them. Who do you think the next diva program is going to be designed for? And who's going to be that next one after Cardi B?
How about that?
You understand what I'm saying? So
it's interesting to me that we've had quite a few women step in the game and do the Little Kim thing, but we haven't had that many step in the game to do the Queen Latifah or the MC Light.
Because someone has told them that don't pay.
Right.
Yeah, we're in a bookstore. This is rare in the Black community.
Right. Very rare.
This is rare. And then to see the level of things that we're seeing, oh, this is rare.
Yeah.
But none of those artists you will ever catch in a bookstore. How many interviews have you seen with them? You never saw them in a bookstore or library. No. And let's get something straight for those people that support and listen to the mumble rappers. We're not condemning them or that frequency. We're just saying is, why don't you use that frequency in the way you do it to say something positive? Anything positive. We won't get it. I'm sure the mumble rappers can mumble out something for Black History Month.
Let me ask you, when it comes to the older veterans in the hip-hop game, do you think that it's still a lane for them to be able to create music? And I'm asking because, Jay-Z just dropped an album that went platinum, and Jay did his thing, but it came and went so fast. Do you think that there's still a lane for someone who's an artist that
it came and went so fast because who did he market it
Exactly,
to? He marketed to people that only talk in 140 characters. That's why it came and went so fast.
Yeah.
These people, they're not holding on to anything of substance. No, but to answer your question directly, yes, but that lane has to be created by that particular artist. And listen, I'm making an album right now. I'm not dumbing my down for a 14-year-old. No. For what? I'm 57 years old. So if you 27, 37, 47, yeah, vibe with Professor Griff, cool. Because I'm not making it for the 17-year-old.
And see, I think that's something that has to be looked upon, because in all the other music genres, whether it's rock and roll, country music, soul music, artists don't have an age limit, but it seems like in hip-hop, it's such a young man's game, and it's like always viewed that way, like it's such a young man's game. But when I go to shows, I'm talking about, we were just speaking of Big Daddy Kane earlier. I went to a Big Daddy Kane show. Big Daddy Kane turned it out harder than he did back in the day when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember hearing Busta Rhymes get on younger artists about just standing there talking in a mic and not really putting on a show for the people. You know, I mean, I'm like going to a Public Enemy concert. You left up out of that thing like you had been to the revolution. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But you know something? If I'm in the projects and I live on the 8th floor, and my man was supposed to pick me up, but he says, nah, I can't get you. My son gonna come get you. Well, your son don't have the same kind of cultural experience we had. You understand what I'm saying? Your son may pull up, won't even put the hazardous lights on, double park, get out and yell. You out your mind, man. You better walk your behind up or catch the elevator. The elevator may be broke. Come on up here and knock on the door, man, because that's how we do things, bro.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? His dad may have done that in a different kind of way. Why am I, and I'm asking you a question, and the people that's watching this, why am I at 47 have to make my music to come down to their level? Why can't they meet me halfway or come up to the 8th floor and see what we're dealing with up here?
I think too that there's a level of what we're talking about with being inspired, inspiration. I see a lot of young people at the events that you do, the seminars that you do. I see a lot of young people getting to know you from your seminars and from the books. But I'll ask those same people if they even know Public Enemy or Chuck D or anything like that, and they don't. They know Flavor Flav from the buffoonery, but
why, with that said, why am I obligated and have a duty and responsibility to them for me to meet them on their level, and they don't even have an idea or a clue as to who I am?
Yeah. Well, that's definitely true. Do you think that there's a platform that we can create that keeps artists relevant like yourself to keep that example of what needs to be done still put forth?
We don't need to create one. It's creating itself. Last week I went to Silk's premiere of their Unsung.
Yeah.
I saw in concert the 80s versus the 90s. I was at that concert at Morehouse. Troop, Force MDs, Melvin Riley, and Ready for the World. And they turned it out. So it's already created. It's creating itself.
Okay.
You know why? The artists today are not bringing it on stage. So the promoters is like,
Because you make your money in concerts, and I've been to some concerts. I'm telling you, if you're going to pay $200 for a ticket, I really need to see a show.
Yeah, you better do something.
You know what I'm saying? You really need to turn that thing out.
Yeah.
Because if you just, it's going to be an issue. Let me get into some specific topics that are relevant today. I know you've written a lot of books. You got your comic book here that you've been working on. It's been about 3 years now that you've done your comic book. I see so many positive characters in your book. Let's talk about comic books. Let's get to Black Panther, that just came out and did extremely well. Have you seen the movie yet?
Yes, I saw the movie.
Okay. What did you think about the imagery of the film itself as to how they portrayed the Black Panther's introduction story to the people?
Oh, wow. Imagery was beautiful, man. I mean, it gave you a warm, fuzzy feeling. And it only gave the people a warm, fuzzy feeling if you know anything about Africa. Some people are coming to the Black Panther experience having no knowledge. Some people are just now figuring out that they black during Black History Month. You understand what I'm saying? So if that's you and you just now coming to the Black Panther experience, come on, study Africa first. And then you Mao Zedong said, no investigation, no right to speak.
Right.
All right, you running your mouth about something you know absolutely nothing about. And if you want to try me on that, my number is 678-557-2919. We're sitting in front of a mud cloth, a textile, which you know absolutely nothing about this pattern, that we could take you to what tribe and why they created this pattern. You'll see the same pattern woven into the hair of women who braid women's hair. But you don't know what tribe it's from. You don't know the cultural, historical reference and relevance to this particular pattern. So come on, don't go to the Black Panther movie thinking that you're going to lend something to the conversation and you know nothing about Africa. I had that conversation this morning. Everywhere Africans go, African is in the African. All right? And the African is in Africa regardless of where we go. Hell, we can be in Detroit. We're still African.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We could be down in South America on the beaches in Puerto Rico somewhere. You still African. How many of us have bought a damn German Shepherd and changed the name? No. Wherever you take the damn German Shepherd is a goddamn German Shepherd.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because I think that I always say to people, you know, when Marcus Garvey when he spoke with him about why he was so interested in Africa when he was from Jamaica, why would he just focus on just Jamaica? And he said, I would never give up a continent for an island.
Exactly.
I think that in this day and age, though, we have to look at not giving up the planet for the continent. I definitely respect the fact that we are all Africans, but we are such a global people that, just like you're saying, it's not just us being regulated. Like Dr. Khalid Muhammad said, Africa is not all of our home, but it's all of our throne. And we have to protect Africa and make sure that it's something that is working on behalf of all African people. And it has to be our home and our throne. How do you feel about the influence of what hip-hop has done in Africa right now?
Well, not only the influence coming out of Africa, I think it's a beautiful cultural, what do you call that? A cultural exchange? Yeah. Africa's given to us, but we've given back to Africa. But we've only given back to Africa through the lens, through the filter, through the hands of the same people that's trying to dominate and control hip-hop.
Certain things I find that there are cultural differences that may see someone else as being a rude person, and I see the conflict with us, with young people. I work with a lot of young Africans from different places, some from the Congo, some from the Ivory Coast, from Ghana, from Haiti. There are differences in the culture that make us all kind of rub each other the wrong way. You understand what I'm saying? And then there's some things that's just cut and dry, you know, with the particular ways that we're supposed to respect.
I'm glad you said that,
women.
man.
Those are things that
I'm glad you
go
said
across our cultures through all bounds. So I definitely hear what you're saying, but that brother not being able to understand the level of respect that he has to have for us, I don't think that has anything to do with his culture, is just what I'm saying. I think that just comes from, as I'm stating, sometimes I think our young people have not been put through the system or through any type of initiation processes that puts them in a position where they even understand what's respectable and what's not.
I went to go meet brothers and sisters from the Native American tribe that I was researching years back. I ended up in New Mexico after I went to Montana and got left with tears in my eyes because everybody was looking like, you know, John Wayne.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I ended up on my journey, just me. I wasn't telling nobody. I ain't asked nobody for no help. I ended up in New Mexico. And they told me to go see the chief, so to speak. And I'm afraid of dogs. I'm hearing dogs barking. You know, it's a hill that I got to climb. And I just said, I'm here now. I might as well go. And, of course, you have to bring a gift. I went up and I sat. And let me tell you, that hour and a half or 2 hours that I had to wait before anyone said anything to me, that'll test you, man.
Yeah.
Because my attitude was like, don't waste my time. You told me to come see so-and-so. Wait, yeah, I'm looking at the watch. It's like, that's not how we do things. He'll see you when he's ready to see you, if he sees you at all. Wow.
Right. It's
and then
an experience.
It is. And then when I heard that same thing from Professor Smalls, oh, they may take your gift and tell you to get out their face. He'll see you next week. Or come back. I'm not ready to see you. It's like, wow, because it was something I was getting from him, not something I was bringing to him. So interestingly enough, I had this conversation with my wife the other day about social media. Since we're talking about how we do things, all right? Your wife put up a post, nice, beautiful picture. She's promoting her business. Some dude come on and leave some hearts and flowers and roses. Back in the day, the way we grew up, you don't do that.
You don't do that.
You don't do that.
No.
You get hurt behind some stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying?
As a wife, especially, man. Yeah.
Right. But nowadays, people are so sensitive. Even if it's the jump off, it's like, bro, what you doing? Like, you know him?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Even if it's your girlfriend. But if it's your wife and people are doing this, there's just a way we did things coming up that we have to now acclimate ourselves to how people communicate using signs and symbols and emojis and that kind of thing on social media. You understand what I'm saying? So I was told, oh, that person don't mean no harm. It's just that when they send the heart, that means that they love what you're saying, what you're about, your whole vibe. Maybe taking into account the whole post and what you're doing as far as your movement. And I had to be quiet because I don't have 80,000 people on Instagram following me.
It's not disrespectful until they throw a message in the DM. Until they send you a nude pic in the DM, that's when it becomes disrespectful. Up until the end, everything is fair play.
I'm glad you say that simply because I still wrestle with the English language. And I often hear
when it comes to
that person is on there and they're sending signs, but long as they don't say anything disrespectful, no, that's not the way I operate. They can insinuate something disrespectful, and it's a problem. You understand what I'm saying? But I noticed something with brothers. You can say that, you can't even say that to their ex. You can't even insinuate disrespect to their ex.
Right.
You can't even say, you definitely can't say that about their mama.
Right.
You put up a post with your mama on Mother's Day and let some dude come on halfway insinuating something disrespectful. Oh, that's a problem.
Right.
But why do we go and our wives and girlfriends put stuff up and we allow people to disrespect them? No, it's going to be a problem any way you put it. If my wife put up something about her mother and my mama and you saying something disrespectful, it's going to be a problem.
We're sitting here talking about hip-hop and we're talking about disrespect like that. My brother Rab Love actually said something about how the genre of the music, because it moved in a direction of disrespecting women so much, that we have to, at some point at this stage, take responsibility for the way people look.
Yeah, we have to. We have to. And some brother tried to have a conversation with me today about the movie Panther. Why you think they put it out at this time? I want to say, Negro, shut the hell up. It's about money. What do you mean? Who wouldn't? If I put up my 200 million, I'm expecting to get 8 during Black History Month. You goddamn right. On Huey P. Newton's birthday.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. I'm expecting to get my 8. I'm expecting to make 5 times the amount I kicked out. If I shelled out 200 million, you damn right I want 8 back. That's just smart business. Plain and simple. You come dressing all up in your African garb asking a stupid question like that. Let me be mindful I'm in Mia's store. You understand what I'm saying? It's stupid.
Yes. What do you think, not what you think, what do you know that we have to do as men, though, to make sure the Me Too campaigns and different things like that are not so rampant in our community? Because to me, I have 2 daughters, and both my daughters are adults right now. And I've talked with my daughters in detail since they were little girls about how they carry themselves.
You talk to them?
I talk to them.
I'm gonna ask you one more time. You talk to them? Can I ask you one more time?
Talk with them.
Talk with them?
I talk with them.
But what did you demonstrate for them?
What I did demonstrate for them was what it would look like if it was uncomfortable for someone to be touching you. I demonstrated to them that they shouldn't sit on anybody's laps. You understand? That they shouldn't just sit on people's laps. They shouldn't, if they have on a dress, they shouldn't feel comfortable just rolling around on the floor. There were different things that I talked to my daughters about because of the society that I felt that we were in.
Do we owe our children a karmic debt that we have to pay?
I think so, yes.
So what about those brothers that say and had that conversation and talk with their daughters, but demonstrate something totally different? Nonverbal communication speaks volumes. You don't have to say too much. If I walk in a room with my wife, I don't have to hear a man actually say something to her.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You looking at her, you ain't gotta be that close, and you ain't, come on, man. So that whole having to say something, nah, most people don't.
Let's touch on that. You did just get married recently here, and let me ask you, how important is that to the warrior code for a warrior to be married, male or female?
Whew. Let me tell you something, man. People ask me, what would the Professor Griff of today say to the student Professor Griff? But what would the student Professor Griff say to the Professor Griff today? When I looked in the face of my firstborn child, Takia Khalees Shah, the dynamic of how I had to approach things changed. Plain and simple. But that transition took a minute. You understand what I'm saying? A conversation, a level of conversation, who I'm talking to and what I'm talking about. With my child in the stroller or in my arms, I'm not having it at the mall.
Right.
Or at the parking lot of the bank. I'm not trying to have that conversation right now. The intonation of my voice, my daughter will tell you to this day, means something. Uh-oh. Nope, I'm not trying to. No, I wouldn't say that. My daddy's just gonna say and he's gonna do. And does she see me in action before? And she's like, nope, I wouldn't do that. Nope, I'm not gonna have that conversation. And even to this day, ask any woman that's grown now and how they have to interact with their fathers. Nope. Can you hold on for a second? My daddy calling. Got to take that conversation outside.
Right.
Because it's just the way they have to deal with their fathers. And my daughter especially, it's like, nope, there's just certain things you might not want to come to my dad with. I'd rather not tell him that this dude put his hands on me. I'd rather not let him know that X, Y, and Z happened. No, I just can't tell my dad that. My sisters tried that one time.
So how do we create that? And that goes to exactly what I'm saying with the Me Too campaign, because it's so much of what women don't tell us. I know during that whole campaign, I had some conversations with sisters who said to me, you know, brothers have to protect us more. And I said, definitely sisters have to speak out to us more too, because we cannot read minds. You know, and I know I was married myself for 10 years, and that was my biggest thing. I could not read minds, and I tell people I'm not going to get married again until I truly can read minds. You know, it has to be a part of the process for me to be able to do it, because I think that the communication sometimes is just not there because of the cultural makeup.
Bro,
to me, it's not there.
And it's harder. And I rarely say stuff like this in interviews, and I only talk to my wife about it. It's hard. This Professor Griff character, man. It's like I travel, and she'll tell you I'm friendly, jovial, with people, everyone, regardless of where you work, who you are, or whatever. And I often say to her, why do I gotta speak to everybody, but this sister over here won't even speak? But if something went down, she'd be expecting me to come to her aid. No.
Yeah.
Nah. But something will compel me to help her out if some dude is kicking her in the face. And it's on my watch. Sometimes I don't want to, because hell, I spoke to you. You couldn't even say hi, how you doing? I mean, how you feel today, or whatever. But you understand what I'm saying? True story. I'm at a record company, man, taking care of some business, whatever. I spoke to the secretary. I guess she must have been on her thing that month, that day. And I'm speaking, no conversation, not a hi, not nothing. I saw that same sister 2 days later, broke down on the highway, and I stopped to pick her up. And if she's listening, she knows who she is. You understand what I'm saying? Did I want to? I'm like, oh, that's so-and-so. I'm like, okay.
See, that's what I said.
You understand what I'm saying?
Culture itself, I think, has created a situation where it's harder for us to be able to know when to do and not to do. Because
I say take the high road. I say always do it and have the conversation later on.
Because I've had to do that holding the door sometimes. I had a
that's the worst.
A whole conversation with me about me calling her a queen and referring to her as queen. She had this whole conversation with me about how she was not a queen and how I should never respond to a woman as a queen. And she told me that gay men are queens, not women. And I said, you know what?
So we didn't have queens in Africa?
That's what I said. I said, so you're going to tell me that you're going to allow men to take your title from you, and now you want me to refer to and look at a queen as somebody being a gay man versus a woman? You understand what I'm saying? Being the second self to God, you want me to look at you in a different light because of that? So that's what I mean when I say, how do you think that this culture has affected the way we can even deal with and protect the women that are amongst us as men?
You know, it's almost like we have to get the nonverbal thumbs up from women. To A, come in their space, B, to have a conversation. But then what happens do we recognize the proverbial virtual thumbs up when it comes to protecting them? Would you have protected that sister if something would have happened to her at that moment from a queen?
I still would have protected her.
It's just something in us that, we still have to bring that to the table, because at the same time, your daughter may be having that same conversation somewhere else across town, and you would want that man to protect your child. There's situations that I'm in that I don't necessarily like, but I still got to be the man that I am in those situations and not let those situations take me out of character, take me out of who I know I am and who I have to be to myself. You understand what I'm saying? So, and that's just real. Like we were discussing the Panther movie, and we just can't become the enemy that we're trying to destroy.
I know.
Once you become that,
right,
then you're no longer yourself. Then,
I like some of the conversation he had with Killmonger on that topic, But also, one of the things that I saw with Killmonger, kind of.
Hold on. That's Sista's shirt. I just glanced over. She's shopping. It's my
My cardio.
Peace, King. That's good. That's her workout. But anyway, go ahead.
In the scene where Killmonger actually grabbed.
Yeah, we were shooting. Yeah, but you still a king. Come stand on your throne. You good? All right. This is Brother Richard Shabazz.
How you doing,
Good to
brother?
meet you.
All right.
Yes, I like the T-shirt. I am a king. Nobody
Right.
can tell you.
Back is wide. Shit.
All right. All
Feel
right.
free to, brother. We family. Again, on Killmonger, there was a part in the movie where I felt myself kind of grasp for air, and a few other people in the theater, I could hear them when he grabbed the sister in the throat and picked her up in the air. You know, and Papa Ekanajeo, he spoke to me about that. He said that was the part that he had the most problem with the brother's character, with him grabbing.
Putting his hands on the sister.
Putting his hands.
But you notice no other men at that time did anything, or even when they heard about it, they didn't do anything. But that blatant act of disrespect. And then didn't he kill the elder?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he was roguing.
Yeah. He was wilding out on some things.
Yeah, but even at the end, Black Panther humbled himself in order to help take the knife out of the brother to heal him, and he didn't even want that. Yeah, so that's when I had to disconnect myself with that particular character. Do you understand what I'm saying? Heal me with what I know you have to heal us, so I can come back and fight that battle another day, but probably not even the same battle. But just heal me. But contrary to popular belief, I think the black man in America, which he represented, the nigga, wants healing.
You think he wants it?
He wants healing.
Do you think, and I'm going to end with this question here, do you think the sickness of the society that we've come up under, being dehumanized in this country, colonized in our own countries, do you think those particular cultural things have caused us to be in a position to where we have to scrape everything that we know, and we have to allow the woman herself to tell us what's actually needed? Or do you think it's still in our nature?
I'm smiling because I had almost an hour and a half conversation this morning about yoga and its origin and blah, 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 blah. And what you just said speaks to it. It's the fact that how are we going to become the colonizer now and colonize our own people as though we really know what that's about? We don't even have the power to be a colonizer.
Right.
We don't even have the know-how. We're just mimicking what our oppressor has done to us. But at the same time, trying to be the oppressor and colonizing our own people, we're forgetting everything that's valuable to who and what we are as a people. That made us a great people. That even made them want to colonize us. So you, at one hand, colonizing, you have to forget your history. You have to get everything that's been passed on to you that hasn't been written, that comes in your genetic code. You have to forget all of that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And become the very same colonizer that we're not. The same people that colonized us. You have to become that. There's a price that you're going to have to pay for that.
Right.
And I always give the...
Paying for it.
Exactly. But I always give the example of the ripple effect. You throw a rock in a pond, you may get 7 ripples. What we say today here, right now, at Medu Bookstore in 2018, still in February, in that camera, to these few people that are standing here, we were held responsible 7 generations down the road. So with that said, is there anything you want to take back?
No, I think I'm good.
A friend of mine, Black Dot, said in his book, Hip Hop Decoded, are you keeping it R-E-E-L or are you keeping it R-E-A-L? This is Professor Griff from Public Enemy, the real Minister of Information, and I'm a real activist. Peace.